One of the best things a parent can ever give a child is a warm and safe place they can call home. Northwest resident Lebogang Bogopane lost her home when she was still a little girl. For many years, Lebogang's father assaulted her mother. He then sold their house, leaving the family in a shack. Lebogang went on to become an award-winning community builder, launching a center that provides shelter and counseling services to victims of gender violence. A powerful voice of reason that fights for human rights in the Northwest. Lebogang Bogopane runs a hectic schedule, spearheading several campaigns against gender violence. An award-winning change agent, Lebogang's passion for community leadership was born out of her own history of abuse and trauma. Born in Garankuwa in 1983, Lebogang and her two siblings were well off.
I remember my family had a coal business. You know, my mother and father were working in harmony in that coal yard business, and they made a lot of money.
Even though her home was rocked by domestic problems, she lived a life many envied.
They built a double-story mansion. We were the only family that had a double-story mansion in Garankuwa Zone 16.
But when fighting became a regular occurrence at home, the quality of life quickly deteriorated.
But all of a sudden the house would be cold. Not simply because of, you know, if it's weekend and my father comes in, you know, the abuse is gonna start. You know, sometimes we would watch TV at home, and simply by hearing the car, you know, we would all go to bed. Why? Because we would want to avoid the confrontation.
When Lebogang turned 14, things got worse. First, her father abandoned the family, and then a final blow. He came back and sold their home, leaving them in pain and disbelief.
I remember the guy that sold the house, he came and he said to my mother, I'm giving you 1 month. After 1 month, I want you out of my house.
From a double-story mansion to a one-room shack. Not only a shock to young, impressionable teenagers, but also an embarrassment in the community. As if that wasn't enough, her mother suffered a stroke due to stress, forcing 16-year-old Lebogang to work and study at the same time in order to provide for her family. Tough as it was, she finished her matric in 2000. In later years, she got married, hoping life would be different, but it wasn't. The violence that she experienced as a child was repeating itself in her married home.
It actually made me think of what my mother went through, you know. He would hit me and all those things. I would call his family, you know. Sometimes they would not come, you know. Sometimes when they came, they would say I, you know, provoked him to hit me.
Before Lebogang and her husband could try to solve their problems, he tragically died in a car accident. Several years of grieving, and then Lebogang gathered enough strength to launch a project that would empower women. In 2008, Mothotlung Network was born with financial assistance from several organizations and individuals. Now, women and children of Britz have a 24-hour crisis center where they can seek temporary refuge should they fall victims of domestic violence.
They basically are professional counselors and they have qualified for that counseling course.
A suicidal Dora Menwe came to Mothotlung Network looking for help after her stepfather and boyfriend constantly assaulted her. She received the help she desperately needed and now gives back as one of the 39 volunteers working here.
Ne ke feel pain gore ke bana motho a monna ke picture ka mokho ne ba ntira ka teng le motho a monna ha tla bana ke re o mpetha on abuse ka mokho ba le bang abuse ke tshaba le dumedisa lo emisa sefatlhego.
But it's not just women and children who receive special attention here. Lebogang's organization had to intervene on behalf of this man when a female neighbor hired people to assault him.
Ke bona gore maphodisa hangata ha rena batho ba bontate re complain ka bo mmeseo hanke ba re isa tlhomo.
No human being deserves to go through the trauma that Lebogang experienced. But it turned her into a strong woman who's determined to make sure others don't have to walk the same path.
When I see a couple, a married couple, being able to put their differences aside and be able to build that healthy family environment with their children, to me it is powerful.
If you are inspired and would like to contribute to any of Lebogang's programs, you can call the number on your screen.